Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, aka Skylar Madison, and today I'm going to go ahead and create an asset for a video that's going to come out this week, hopefully. For those of you that haven't heard, I'm planning on making a video that's about how to make a glitch effect in Affinity Designer. A lot of people really liked my last thumbnail and are asking for a tutorial on it, and I don't think that there's any tutorials on how to make a glitch effect in Affinity Designer. I think there is tutorials on how to make a glitch effect in Affinity Photo, but that's Affinity Photo. It's not quite the same thing. So how to do it with vectors is pretty important. And, you know, there's a lot of times, like, I don't know, people oftentimes go towards automated services in order to make a quick effect. Once I posted that thumbnail around social media, someone mentioned something called Photomosh or something like that, but you need to export it into a raster, and then you just play around with a bunch of settings, and then it automatically creates a glitch effect. And that's cool and all. Genuinely and truly, that's cool and all, but the thing is let's say you're a graphic designer, and you are hired to make a high-quality image. They want it in vectors, and you go ahead and you design something really cool. You use Photomosh, and then they really like it, okay? And it's getting so much traction with their clients or whoever it is that the advertisement is for. And so they give you a phone call back and they say, hey, this is really cool. We need this blown up to being the size of a billboard. This exact same image. We don't want anything to change in it at all, period. We just want it to be as big as a billboard. And so what do you do then? I mean, I understand that there's a lot of settings inside of Photomosh and all that, but if you have to blow it up to being the size of a billboard, it's not going to be the same image. So it's important that I really do feel it's important that people actually know how to make a glitch effect on their own. And generally finding a shortcut's not always the best route. Knowing how to do something and being able to execute it really well, and even fast even. The video is going to probably be a little bit longer of a video, but it's, you know, normally if I was doing it on my own, it would be really quick. It wouldn't be as lengthy of a process, because here I am having to think of how do I describe what I'm doing as I'm doing it inside of a tutorial. So that's the reason why the video will probably be a little bit more lengthy. And you know, it's really interesting, because whenever I release a video and then I release a video about me making the thumbnail that's for that video about me making the thumbnail, it's an opportunity for me to play with graphic design and to think really trippy and such like that. I need to make this thumbnail for the video about me making the thumbnail, which is weird. I need to somehow treat this new thumbnail differently. I mean, it'll have all the same assets that are in the thumbnail that it's for, but like, I don't know if I'm making much sense. I'm sorry. But basically, I have to think of ways of making it as different as humanly possible, and yet making it look as interesting as possible. And so it's really cool when people are resonating with those thumbnails, the thumbnails that are for videos that are just about me making thumbnails. And it's me experimenting. So that thumbnail with the glitch effect that came out last week, it was just me asking myself, can I make a glitch effect? Like, am I even capable of doing it? And seeing as plenty of people are requesting a tutorial, I would say, yeah, you know, I definitely am. It's kind of funny, because yesterday I went ahead and took a screenshot, low-resolution version of the image that it's going to be the kind of the rough draft of the thumbnail for the next video and such like that. I went ahead and posted that on Twitter. Then I went to bed and I didn't think anything of it. And then there's this Affinity tutorial connoisseur who wound up finding my tweet, and he retweeted it. He's got a decent following, and then he went ahead and got Seraph's attention about it, and then Seraph went ahead and retweeted it. Now let me just describe what that means. Seraph is the software developer that makes Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer. So if I were to draw a comparison here, this would be like me making an Adobe Illustrator tutorial and then releasing promotional images for it, and then Adobe goes ahead and retweets my promotional material for that tutorial that's about to release. That's pretty freaking cool. I mean, it's phenomenal. Now, in the process of making this this asset on the screen here, it's kind of weird because there's a number of things that I really didn't like, and some of it I was able to change, and some of it I was able to, I was willing to accept. The first thing that I didn't like was how his face was turning out, and so you'll actually see me delete all of the vectors for his face at some point here, and it just, you see me right now just transforming it because I just really wasn't happy with how any of it was turning out, and so here I'm just kind of playing with it, and I was originally trying to imitate what was on my reference image, but the reference image with his mouth open, it kind of looked like he was in a little bit too much ecstasy, and so I don't want to get that impression into people's heads, and so I had to redraw the entire face, and you even still see me, even when I'm trying to ink it, I'm still trying to kind of rework a few things, just kind of roughly get things to work, and trying to get them to actually look like my mascot, and that can be a little bit of a frustration sometimes. And I think I nailed it right on the head. Now, my reference image, it's kind of weird. I've already mentioned in a previous video how I'm always looking for the next iconic image. I want to make an iconic image, and the best way to do that is to, look at images with celebrities in them and, draw from them or something along those lines, or to look at an image that is already iconic and either be inspired by it or to draw from it to some extent just with your version. And that's exactly what I did. Now, back when I was learning Adobe Photoshop way back in the day, there was this tutorial that was about, how to make amazing lighting effects. And the image that they had promoting and their tutorial, and it's generally the image that you would even be using if you wanted to follow their tutorial completely as if it were doctrine or something like that. That image has always stuck with me, and so I wound up hunting down that image and drew from it. Now, of course, my reference image was of a shirtless man in this really dramatic pose, and I decided, it's my mascot, so he's got a suit and tie. And so there's a lot of differences. I just really like how the human form is in that pose, and I also enjoyed kind of changing the proportions from being normal human proportions to being my mascots, which is 3.5 heads long, from the collarbone down, and I think that wound up looking pretty cool. Really satisfied with how this image wound up coming out. And every time that I start working inside of Affinity Designer, trying to get the shadows and highlights in there, I'm always thinking about trying new little techniques, little things that might improve the image when compared to the last time that I wound up making a thumbnail and such like that. So, yeah, this I think I used a few techniques here that I was really happy with. But the other thing that I was kind of unhappy with, but I wound up just thinking, well, it's good enough. It's the tie. As it ripples around with the motion or the wind or whatever it is, the ripples, they're kind of too predictable, and you know, the top portion of the tie that goes up towards his face, it's a little too flat. And the reason why I decided to make it really flat is because that was the edge of the canvas. And looking back, you know, it doesn't matter if it's in the canvas or not, like if it's actually inside of the composition or not. People know it's there, and just have some of it just kind of showing. I don't know. Maybe that's something I should have done, but you know, you live and you learn, and you just keep moving forward and improve over time, and that's pretty much all you can really hope for, really. Now, pretty soon here, you're going to be able to see the image with all the glitches in it. Now, if you guys like how this image looks, make sure that you tune in. I believe on Sunday, that's when the video should be finished. Hopefully it's finished on Sunday. And all that good stuff. Now, when the image comes up, I want you guys to just take a look at it and think, you know, because I think I made the glitches way too small for a thumbnail, and so they might not register to the eye, so I might actually make a different version of it. I'm thinking about keeping this version for later on when I'm thinking about making merchandise and stuff like that, and all that good stuff. But here it is right here on the screen right now, and you can actually see the glitch effect. I mean, I remember playing the original Nintendo and seeing this sort of weirdness go on when the cartridge was incorrectly or something like that, or when it wasn't cleaned properly and still trying to play Mario Brothers. You can actually see to the right of the fingers, you can actually see little glitchy fingers out there to the right underneath glitch effect, the text there. It's kind of cool. Anyways, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys would like to get more notifications from me, feel free to click on the bell or go ahead and follow me on Twitter. A link is supplied in the video description below. And if you guys would like to see more of my content, feel free to click on anything appearing on the screen right now. Thank you very much for your time.